This video is all about Kounta Intelligent Print Server Printing. It goes through who should use Intelligent Print Server Printing, how Intelligent Print Server Printing works, and then how to prep your hardware, set up your print server, and then set up your printers within Kounta. Firstly, we'll go through who should use Intelligent Printing and how it works. Intelligent Printing should only be used if you're using a Windows machine, Combank Albert, or Apple computer to make sales within your site. You will also need a Mac or Windows computer running Google Chrome to set up Intelligent Printing, although you don't need to use this device as a register. If you're not using any of these devices to make sales, refer to the app printing setup guides and videos. If you are, here's how the devices will communicate with the printers in your venue. Each of your devices will send print commands to your modem router. The modem router will then send those print commands to your Epson Intelligent Printer via an Ethernet cable. All of the printers compatible with Epson Intelligent Print Server Printing need to be plugged into the modem router via an Ethernet cable, and therefore wireless printing is not possible. Your intelligent printer with the print server inside then translates that into plain printer commands, sends them back to the modem router, and then through to other printers in your venue. As this is quite a network-intensive printer setup, it is recommended that you only use this if you need to. The first step to get this up and running in your venue is readying your hardware. For each of the printers that you plan to use, make sure that you've inserted paper into the printer, like this, with paper coming through underneath the roll, and then you plug in the power cable that came with your printer, the network cable, the other end of which will be connected to your modem router, and your cash drawer cable if you plan to use a cash drawer with this particular printer. If this is a brand new intelligent printer, when you turn it on, it will print out an IP address that it gets from your modem router, which we will need to use later. So make sure you keep it handy. The IP address is a set of 4 1- to 3-digit numbers, and it will be unique to your site, and will therefore most likely be different to the one we use in the video. If you're using an Epson Kitchen Impact printer, make sure that you put the ribbon in like this, wind it before you put it in, and then also after. And then paper goes in, just as it did with your other printers. Now make sure you've prepped all of your printers as we did before, plugging in the power first, the cash drawer, if you plan to use a cash drawer with this printer, and the network cable, keeping in mind this network cable needs to be plugged directly into the modem router. Once you've plugged in all of the additional printers you need to use, you'll need to perform a status print to get their IP addresses. Turn your printer over, and with a pen, poke the small hole in the back of the printer for 3 seconds, and the printer will print out a long status report containing the IP address we'll need later. Make sure you don't hold the pen in for any more than 5 seconds, otherwise you may reset your printer and there are additional steps to set it up again. If your printer has printed out the IP address 192.168.192.168, you'll need to follow the Enabling DHCP guide, either linked at the bottom of this video or available in the Kounta Support Center by searching DHCP. If you've got IP addresses from all of your printers, it's time to set up your print server and assign IP addresses to your printers. Head to a web browser connected to the same network that the printers are plugged into, and then type in an IP address from one of your non-intelligent printers, and hit enter. If you only have a single intelligent printer, this step isn't necessary. Tap on TCP/IP under Configuration. At the top of this menu, change Auto to Manual, and then change the last numbers at the end of your IP address to 201, as this is the first printer we're setting up. Then press Submit. After a few moments, you'll see a page saying configuration change is complete. Then press Reset. While we're waiting for the printer to reset, open a new tab or a new browser window and type in the IP address of another non-intelligent printer that you're looking to set up. If you don't have any additional non-intelligent printers, this step is not necessary. If you do, it is exactly the same as the previous step. Simply type in the IP address of the second non-intelligent printer you're looking to set up, click on TCP IP under Configuration. Next to Get IP Address, change Auto to Manual, and then change the last 3 numbers of the IP address to, in this case, 202, or for the third non-intelligent printer, 203, or 204, or for the 14th non-intelligent printer, 214. Then press Submit, followed by Reset. Now we're going to open up a third tab and set up our intelligent printer. To do this, type in the IP address you got from your intelligent printer, followed by a slash, and then capital P printer, capital C configuration, and capital P page, as you see it written on the screen. At this point, you may be asked for a password. If you are, the username is Epson, E-P-S-O-N, and the password is also Epson, E-P-S-O-N, all lowercase. Once you log into the Intelligent Printer configuration page, you'll notice that it's a little bit different to the non-intelligent printer configuration pages. So to get to the right place, we need to go to System Settings, and then to TCP IP. Change Get IP Address to Manual, and change the last 3 digits of the IP address to 200, and press Apply. Now that these changes have been applied, we'll need to change the IP address in our URL address bar to access this page again. Head up to the address bar and type in at the end of the IP address in your address bar 200 and press Enter. You might be asked for your password again. Again, the password is the same, EPSON, and the username EPSON. This next step is telling the intelligent printer where the non-intelligent printers are on the network so it can get commands to them effectively. Head down into Printers. Next to Device ID, give your printer a name. In this case, I'm going to call it Kitchen, remembering if you used capitals anywhere or not, as this is very important for a future step. You'll then need to enter your printer model, in this case a TM-U220. You can find the model number on a sticker on your printer, and then the IP address you assigned to that printer. So in this case 201, as it was the first printer that I set up. Pressing Add then adds this printer to the print server, and pressing Back takes us back to the Add a Printer page. We will need to repeat this for each of the non-intelligent printers we plan to use in our venue. The second printer I set up was for next to the coffee machine, so I'm going to call it here Coffee with a capital C, remembering the capital is very important. The model is a T82II, and the IP address, as it's the second printer I set up, 202. And once again, press Add. And then Back. Then next to each printer, press the Test Print button and wait for a success message. If you don't get a success message, most likely your IP address is wrong in your printer, or the printer isn't correctly connected to the network. Each printer will also print out a small docket letting you know that it is able to print from the print server. Once all of your printers are successfully test printing, it's time to add printing settings to the Kounta backoffice. To log in to Kounta backoffice, head to my.kounta.com and type in your username and password. Now that we're in the backoffice, head to the Sites menu. If you have more than one site, select your site, and then go to the Printing tab. You want to make sure your production printing method is Intelligent Print Server. The intelligent printer IP address is entered in here, which will end in 200 if you've been following the numbers in this guide. If you want to print separate items to separate printers, specify printer/item specific under production printing, and then hit Save. Then we'll add our printers to Kounta. First, the intelligent printer with a very specific name, local_printer, all lowercase. Then tap Add Printer to add this printer to Kounta backoffice. Next, we'll add our kitchen printer, remembering that the name that we chose had a capital K. So we'll add kitchen with a capital K here. If I was to use a lowercase k, this printer would not work. And finally, my coffee printer, capital C. Now all three printers that I want to set up are set up. I now hit save again. The next step, by going to the Registers tab, is telling all of your registers or selling screens which printer they should print tax invoices to, and if there's a cash drawer connected to that printer, which cash drawer they should open. I'm going to select my floor register here, then go to the Printers tab within those register settings, select Intelligent Print Server for my printing method, add the Intelligent Printer IP address to this register, and then select which printer I'd like to print receipts or tax invoices, and which printer will be popping the cash drawer for this register. I'll then repeat this for all of the other registers within my venue. The next step is to go to the point of sale screen, either with this button or this button. When you click them, if this is the first time you've gone to the point of sale on this device, you'll need to select a register. So in this case, I'll select my floor register. I can recycle my register after I've set it up using this Google Chrome web browser in register settings, if I need to. Now that I'm on the point of sale, I'll need to go to Menu, Printing, and then hit the Test button next to the printer I'd like to test. The first time you test print, Google Chrome will automatically stop the printing as a security precaution. Click on the shield icon in the address bar and then click Load Unsafe Scripts. We'll then repeat previous steps, Menu, Printing, and Test, and we'll see that HTTPS in the top bar up here has gone red with a line through it, and your printer should have printed. Then proceed to test all of your other printers to make sure they're all printing. If you are going to use Google Chrome as a selling screen, we have a guide showing you how to automatically apply this printing security override every time you launch your browser. Otherwise, every time you close your browser, when you open it again, you'll need to do a test print and do the shield icon Load Unsafe Scripts before you're able to print. This guide is either linked below this video for your convenience, or you can head to the Kounta Support Center and search Google Security Settings. If you're having any issues, you can reach out to our support team via support@kounta.com.